Hi, Attorney Steve Vondran, business and real estate lawyer, licensed to practice law in California and Arizona. We're back on the Attorney Steve whiteboard. Today's topic, real estate, independent contractors, and a couple of the lawsuits that are out there now in California pending on this issue of independent contractors versus employees. Now, you have to be very careful here when you're starting a brokerage and you're trying to get your business up and running, or an existing brokerage. You know, employees have, whenever you have an employee, one of the downsides of having an employee is it starts triggering all these state and federal employment laws, right? So in real estate, you try to have your agents and other brokers that you work with, your processors, your transactional coordinators, people that you're working with, you want them to be independent contractors, right? So as you know, as a broker, you have a duty to have an independent contractor agreement with all of your employees. So our firm helps draft these independent contractor agreements, and we try to take into account, you have to understand the elements of independent contractor versus employee. There's two cases that recently came out in Los Angeles Superior Court and in California, Barassarani versus Caldwell and Ivan F. Cruz versus Redfin. These are two cases that we are going to be updating you on. You want to make sure you bookmark us. Bookmark us by clicking on the red V on this video. Bookmark us so you can come back and watch these videos and get on our list, so when I'm briefing these cases, you'll get them live to your inbox. Broker knowledge, knowledge is power, okay? So these two cases dealt with misclassifying an independent contractor as, misclassifying an employee as an independent contractor. And so there's a challenge being made. Not to say that the case is resolved, but there's a challenge being made saying, wait a second, you're treating him as an independent contractor. In reality, how you're really practicing here, the day-to-day business of the brokerage is, you're treating them as an employee. Now your state and federal laws kick in, wages, hours, overtime, all that. Now you got a big mess, literally a big mess on your hands. And I believe this Caldwell was a class action case. So bookmark us. We're going to keep you posted on this. I'm going to give you a couple general tips. This is by no means legal advice. Why? Because this is a very tricky area of the law. If you need legal advice on this issue to get your independent contractors agreements created, give us a call. We can walk you through some more detailed responses. But these are general. The things that the courts are going to look at is your independent contractor. What is it? Your contractor agreement. What does it say? Who's doing what? Do you prohibit certain things? Do you say you can't work for anyone else? Do you say you have to use my tools? You have to wear my shirt? You have to show up at my office? What kinds of things are you doing as a broker? And what are you requiring of those people that work with you? Okay, so that's a big key. The difference between your independent contractor agreement and the practice of the day-to-day and the realities of what you're doing could end up with you misclassifying somebody, costing, basically putting you in a position you don't want to be in from a litigation standpoint. Next, you have control. The question of how much control are you exerting on your persons who work in your real estate business. How much control? And by the way, this isn't limited to real estate business. This is any business that you're operating. If you think you have somebody that's an independent contractor in California, but yet you're forcing control on them, you're forcing them to use your tools and equipment, you're forcing them to show up at your office at certain hours, you're forcing them to come to meetings, you're forcing them to do various types of reporting, to prepare reports and do all this. You have to be very careful when you're creating your independent contractor agreement to make sure that you're striking the proper balance so that your persons that you work with will be independent contractors as you hope they are, as you intend them to be, okay? Because if not, if they're not an independent contractor, if you're misclassifying and they're actually employees, like I said, you're going to be in some legal hot water, and that's really when things can get really costly for you, okay? So, Attorney Steve Vondran, this is independent contractor agreement. If you need a business real estate law firm, anywhere from contracts to arbitration to litigation, give us a call, 877-276-5084. We'd be happy to look at your situation in greater detail. And we'll see you again on the Attorney Steve Whiteboard. Have a great day.